To make sure you never get what you want, to never manifest what you want, and to completely ruin your reality, the first step for you to do is define. So, the actual definition of manifestation is to change your internal reality to shape your external reality. But for you to ruin your reality, the first step you need to do is define manifestation as changing external reality with external action. What this means is you need to always equate changing reality with action. So, whether you have a goal, whether you have a desire, to make sure you never obtain it, to make sure you never achieve it, the first step is to always equate changing external reality with external action. Now, the second step to ruin your reality is to embrace scarcity and see it as normal, right? So, to make sure you never manifest any abundance into your life, you need to start relating with people who have the scarcity mindset. You need to start embracing the scarcity mindset. So, this means always worrying about your bank balance, always worrying about not having enough savings, always worrying about not being able to afford things, right? Always be in the scarcity mindset. And if you don't have any money this month, then it's okay, right? Because it is very normal thing for you, right? So always take scarcity as a normal thing, and always focus on things that are actively reflecting scarcity in your life, so that more scarcity will be present in your life. And understand that you should always experience scarcity mentally first in order for it to materialize into physical reality. So never think about attaining big goals, never think about manifesting your big desires, because if you do that, then by chance you may manifest your desires. We don't want that, right? So to completely ruin your reality, you need to always align yourself with scarcity mindset, and always keep worrying about money, always be stressed about money, or not just money, it can be anything about your life, right? And also stop feeling grateful, right? Because once you stop feeling grateful, then things you already have will start depleting. So for example, you may have $100. Once you stop feeling grateful for it, then even those $100 will be spent in some unexpected expenses or bills that may come up, right? So always embrace scarcity and always see it as a normal thing, and always experience scarcity in your mind, so that more scarcity will be present in your physical reality. And the third step is always allow external reality to affect your internal state. So whenever you come across a situation which you don't like or which you don't desire, always react to it, and react in a way always react in a way with anger, frustration, stress, shame. You get my point, right? So whenever you come across a situation where you don't like it, always express anger, frustration, stress, or shame, or any negative emotion that you may come up, so that if you express worry, more worry will be present. If you express stress, more stress will be created, right? Because this is a very quick way to ruin your reality, right? Whatever situation may come up, maybe you may have bills to pay and you don't have the money, or your marriage life may not be up to your liking, or whatever situation you are in right now, always react in a negative emotional way, so that these these unfavorable circumstances will continue. Now this is a very good way to absolutely ruin your reality. Be sure to try it out. And the fourth step to completely ruin your reality is intensify negative emotions. What do I mean by that? So, we are human, right? We all experience emotions. So, whenever you experience an emotion that is negative, always intensify on it, always overthink about it, right? So whenever you have a negative thought, for example, let's say you don't have any money to pay the bills that are coming up, and you have a thought reflecting that you can't afford to pay those bills. Now what you can do is you can start overthinking, and you can start engaging with the thought so that your emotion gets intensified, right? So if you're feeling stressed, actively add more stress to it. If you're feeling worried, actively add more worry. And the more emotion you put into it, the more your reality starts changing, right? So if current circumstances starts worrying you, once you put more worry into the current circumstances, then your current circumstances will get changed so that you are getting more worried, you're getting more stressed, right? So how do you do this? It's simple. So whenever you have a negative thought, let me just get this up. So whenever you have a negative thought, you have two options. So you can either engage with it or let go of it. So in this case, to absolutely ruin your reality, you should always engage with it, right? Once you engage with it, you will start thinking about it, and go thinking transforms into overthinking. And once you start overthinking about this certain negative thought, then emotions start to pile up. Negative emotion starts to pile up, and once negative emotion starts to pile up, then your reality starts changing, right? Now this is another good way to absolutely ruin your reality, to never get what you want, and to always never manifest what you want. So one quick way to fasten this process of ruining your reality, you can start resisting negative emotions, right? So whenever you face a negative emotion, whenever you face anger, what you can do is you can start resist it. You can start to control it. You can start to suppress it. And the best part about suppressing your emotions is, so when you suppress an emotion, it gets stored in the subconscious mind. So once your emotion gets stored in the subconscious mind, this emotion will keep popping up to your conscious mind. And what you need to do is you should never work on it, right? You should never let go of your emotions. Always suppress whatever emotion that comes up. Always push it deep down. Never express it. Never let go of it. Never allow yourself to feel these emotions, right? So once you do that, once all these negative emotions get stored within a subconscious mind, then you will be in a constant state of worry, anger, sadness, whatever the negative emotion may be. So once you do that, and since your subconscious mind determines what reality you experience in life, since your subconscious mind is filled with these types of negative emotions, this is a surefire way to ruin your reality, right? So make sure to follow it. Now, the next step is to always use destructive phrases. Now, what do you mean by destructive phrases? So, whenever you talk about a goal or whenever you talk about a desire, to make sure you never manifest it or to make sure you never achieve that goal, you can start using phrases like, So you can start using phrases like, I hope I will get to that goal. I will try to get to that goal. Or you can say, I am unlucky. These things never work out for me. Or you can say, I will try my best. So these kinds of phrases are destructive to the desires that you want to manifest. Now these phrases are destructive to the manifestation of your desires. So by using these phrases, what you're doing is you are putting your goal into far future. It is something that you don't have right now. It is a distant goal that you may or may not achieve. So that is a mindset you need to have, right? So whatever desires that you don't want to be manifested, or goals you don't want to be achieved, always think of your goals as some far distant future state that you will never attain. Never feel good about your goals. Never think positively about your goals. You may or may not achieve your goals. That is the mindset you need to have, right? And always use these phrases to make sure you never manifest what you want. And the next step is, when you have a goal or when you have a desire that you don't want to be manifested, what you need to do is you should always obsess over the how. What do I mean by that? You should always obsess on how you will attain that goal, on how you will achieve that desire, right? Because once you become so obsessed with what action to take, then that will make sure you never manifest your desires, right? So let's say you have a goal of to make $10,000 per month. To make sure you never achieve that goal, you need to figure everything out on this day itself. On the moment you set that goal, you should absolutely obsess over what action to take, what funnel to use, what business model to use, or whether you should go for a job. Like, you should never have faith and you should never let the universe give the answers to you. Right? You should always try to figure it out yourself without letting your highest self or your God self or the universe work it out for you, right? So always obsess over the how. Once you start obsessing over how you will achieve that goal or that desire, then that will make sure that you never manifest what you want. That brings me to the next point, right? Never trust the universe, or you can say God, or you can say your highest self. So, when you never trust God or the universe or your highest self to do the work for you, right? What this means is you should never let go of anything. You should never let go of your desires. You should never let go of your goals. You should be constantly working 24 hours, 24, 16 hours a day for 7 days a week for 365 days a year. You should always be working. You should always be micromanaging on several parts of your business. Now, if you have a business, or you should always try to put in more action, right? You should never let go. You should not, never let the universe or God try to bring your desired reality to you. Because once you let go, then you may shockingly manifest the things that you want, right? So to not do that, always put in more work, always obsess over work, always obsess over action, and never trust the universe. Or you could say, never let go, right? So again, let's take the same example. Let's say you want to make $10,000 per month. Now you should start obsessing over that goal. You should start obsessing over what to do, what action to take. And once you start obsessing over what action to take, and once you start micromanaging on what you need to do, and you should always be needy and desperate about your goals or your desires, then what that makes is you're not letting go. And if you're not letting go, then that means you're not trusting the universe. And once you don't trust the universe, then that means you will never manifest whatever you want, which is precisely the point of this video. And the next crucial point is always numb yourself with external stimuli and be distracted. What this means is, so whenever you go through a negative emotion, instead of actively processing and letting it go, what you need to do is you should start numbing yourself. What this means is you can go through social media and start scrolling. So doom scrolling is a very good way to numb yourself. Or you could play video games or whatever you need to do in order to suppress that emotion or to actively not process that emotion. The best way is to numb yourself with external stimuli. So this can be porn, this can be social media, this can be video games, this can be alcohol, drugs, right? So the more you engage with these external stimuli that actively stimulates your brain, the more you numb yourself. And the more you numb yourself, the more easier it is to be distracted, right? Always be distracted, never be focused on your goal, and always engage in these external highly stimulating stimuli so that you always numb yourself. So if you numb yourself, then you can't feel those emotions, you can't allow yourself to feel those negative emotions, right? So if you don't allow yourself to feel those negative emotions, they will get stored within a subconscious mind, and since whatever your subconscious mind holds true, it will become a reality. So the more negative emotions you store in subconscious mind, the more negative emotions will be present in your reality, right? The more circumstances that will pop up that triggers those emotions, right? So if you suppress shame, then more circumstances will pop up that creates more shame within yourself. And the more you suppress those emotions, then that forms a vicious cycle loop, which makes sure you never manifest what you want, and it completely ruins your reality, which is actually the point of this video. And now the final point, which is actually game changing in a way, because once you follow this single point, then you will absolutely make sure that you completely ruin your reality, right? So this point builds up on all previous points that I have discussed in this video. So the final point is to actively avoid reality. What this means is, so to avoid reality means to you never confront your fears and your vulnerabilities, and it also means that you never work on your destructive behaviors, right? So once you start avoiding reality, once you start numbing your senses, once you start engaging with these negative thoughts and emotions, once you follow all previous points that I've told you, the final crucial point is to actively avoid reality. So that means to keep engaging with those destructive behaviors, to keep engaging with stimuli that distract you, and you should never look into the actual problem, right? So if you have some insecurities, if you have some traumas that you need to process out, if you have some subconscious negative blocks that you may have, which actually helps you to never manifest what you want, right? Because once you start looking within yourself, once you start actively searching for what beliefs you may have, or what emotions you may have that you have, or what emotions you may have within yourself that are unprocessed, right? So without looking within yourself and actively being distracted, actively being engaged in external stimuli, and actively trying to avoid reality, you absolutely make sure that you ruin your reality completely, right? So whatever emotions that you may have unprocessed, keep it that way. Whatever negative self-limiting beliefs that you may have, you should never work on it, and you should keep it that way. Whatever subconscious blocks that you may have in your mind that is actively preventing abundance into your life, you should maybe keep it that way, right? So avoid reality, and or maybe you don't want this. Maybe you are that rare person who actually don't want to ruin the reality and manifest the desires. So if you are that person, then this video is not for you. You can watch other videos. But for all other people who are actively destroying their life, this video will serve as a guiding tool in order to do it in a conscious way, right? So I think that's it. If you want to completely ruin your reality, follow this. Or if you say I want to master my reality, or I want to control my reality, right, then you can check out my other videos, or you can check out the link in the description, and I will see you the next video.